Okay, well, happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing well, and I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I know I've got some plans today for getting prepped for tomorrow, as we have my mother-in-law over for Thanksgiving, and I'm going to work some customs for you, show you guys some things that's going on here in my little 164 NASCAR toy shop. I love doing videos. I love showing you guys my hobby and where I'm at and what I'm working on. As you can see, I have a car on the table. This is the BJ McLeod number 78 Blaster, PB Blaster, and I'm going to be working that. Silk ink decals from Mr. Pato. And I have this car painted a Rust-Oleum poppy red. And I went back and forth if I was going to use the apple red, which is kind of the standard red, which this is, or this poppy red. And so, as you can see, they're very similar, but there is an orange tint to this poppy red. And that's kind of what I settled on, looking at the pictures and everything. The interesting thing, though, is the poppy red is actually a satin finish. So, I had a few questions back and forth with some people. What I like to do before I decal is to make sure that the surface is glossy. And so sometimes that'll be, the gloss paint is nice and you can just run with it, right? Like this apple red is a gloss paint. I don't need to put any sealer or anything on it. I just go with it. Same thing with this marshmallow. This is a white gloss, so I can just decal right over top of it. But when you ever have a matte finish or a satin finish, you need to apply sealer over top of it to get it nice and glossy. And that comes in play when you have some clear area of your decal. So for example, right here in this little space, there's a film that'll be the decal, and that'll cover the area, so you'll see through and see the paint behind it. And if it's a matte or a satin finish, it will show up very oddly. So it'll have like this film over it that'll be glossy, but you'll be able to see through it to a matte or satin finish, and so it's got a very odd finish to it. And so what I try to do is I try to trim around these areas, right, to get rid of this empty space. But at the same time, if it's a glossy finish, then the difference between an area that has a decal on it down here and this area that doesn't is very similar. So anyways, that's why I've got it glossed up. And I actually have 2 coats of gloss on it. Sometimes one is good, but you put 1 coat on it, you look at it, is it good, or should I just put another one? So I put another one on it, and that's where we're at. So I actually have one finished. Not finished, but finished decaling. And this is what she looks like. Not too difficult of a car to work, to be honest with you. This is actually the PTC mold. I can say more about that in a minute, but the decal set's pretty good. There's a little overhang here, but I pre-painted the spoiler or the side skirts here black, so that's done. But I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Actually, there's a little overhang. You can see right here, this little lightning bolt or whatever this thing is comes up a little high and hits. I may trim that, I may leave it, I'm not sure. But I've got to paint the spoiler black. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with it, right? So get the micro sole to soften it up when you put this large piece on. It tends to want to drag down and pull down, so you kind of have to lift up on it a little bit to make sure it stays high. But you don't want to go in too high, because then you get this fuel door up on the back, and so you have to just kind of balance over it. A little overhang isn't too bad. But yeah, pretty happy with it. I think the roof lines are black. I just need to look at some pictures and make sure that I'm 100% spot on there. So the PTC mold, right? These are actually buggers to get back together once you open them up. So, I drill out the little posts that are there. I get the JB weld when I'm ready to put it back together, and I, put it in place. But these always want to lift up. Always wants to lift up, so I clamp it. Well, when I clamp it, I inevitably, you kind of have to get it centered, because sometimes it'll turn on you. This one's turned a little bit to the left. Yeah. So this is not the PTC mold, but you can see even on the back is a little different. See how this has this flat rectangle space right there, aside from here. The PTC mold doesn't. That was one other thing that's a difference between these two. It's just kind of a little flap there with no body. So, but yeah, this is, I think, my last PTC mold. I bought 3 of them, and I'm done with it. I do not like working with these things as customs even. The plastic is just more flimsy, and it doesn't go back together very well. So, yeah, I'm officially done with them. So one other car that I finished, and I'm just in the process of sealing, is this guy. I did the color shot smoke and mirrors, and yeah. Thanks, Simon, for letting me know that Lionel is making this car. I did not realize that. So I took the Chevy rims and I added some of the graphite, metallic graphite to it to try to match it to the body. But yeah, this is going to be a one-of-a-kind pit bull, can't stop us now, Ross Chastain, that you'll see up on eBay here in the next day or two. Alright, a couple other things to note, and a little show and tell. So, got the heater running. So, we are warm and toasty down here, guys. Got my Dappy Tea keys going, and I got some coffee. I'm trying something different today. I went to the store, did some rounds the other day, and I picked up this medium roast Death Wish coffee. So we're giving it a go. So far so good. It's a little hot though, so I'm letting it cool down. Alright, so I picked up a few other things. Let me show you guys what I got. Let me talk a little bit about Home Depot. So got this 3/16 inch drill bit. It was $2.97, which is kind of the normal price. And the reason I bought it, even though I've already got one, I wanted to buy one just in case prices continue to get ridiculous. So sure, I may only save $1, even if it doubles, right? $6, but $3, $6, $3. But I wanted to point this out. So you see that canister back there of my stripper, and it says on there clearance $11. I got it at Walmart for $11. It's a gallon of clean stripper. Guys, at Home Depot yesterday, they had the exact same stripper gallon. It was $55. $55. Unbelievable. And so I'm like looking at their paint too, right? They're just standard cans of Rust-Oleum paint. $6.98 a can. Unbelievable. They're now selling the Behr paint, and that's $5.98 a can. But guys, the paint that I have, all this paint there, and I got, you know, rows of paint there, and I got some color shot up top there, as you can see. The color shot's $4.97 a can. These Rust-Oleums, the 2X, are now $5.98 at Walmart. And then those high performance cans that I got for, I think, $6 or $7 are now like $10. Unbelievable price increases that I'm seeing, and it's just blowing me away. Just blowing me away. So I don't like to see that. I like to see costs as low as possible, but oh man. So yeah, so when I saw this for $2.97, which is, you know, that's a normal price, and when I see these NASCAR Authentics for $5, that's a normal price. Those prices have not changed one bit since COVID. So for whatever reason, certain things are getting hit by inflation and certain things are not. And apparently drill bits are not getting hit, and the NASCAR Authentics are still $5. So that's a blessing, I guess. Anyways, little word on that. I also bought some of this. This is like my favorite tea. So I've got my coffee, Death Wish coffee, with a lot of caffeine in it, and then for the evenings I've got some caffeine free. Love this. Love this. It's just, I just put it straight into hot water. No milk, no sugar, no nothing, just straight, and I love it. It's really, really good stuff. And then I got some decals. So let me show you what I got here. For the decals that have come in recently. So Doug, I thought I had another one of these with the silver numbers, the Joe Gibbs, 25 years celebration of where they actually were allowed one race to drive silver numbers, but now it's like, they can do reflective stuff and whatever they want pretty much on cars. But I got this, I'll make one for you and get that to you with the other GameStop car that you already paid me for, so thanks. Kyle, Crazy Kyle's like I like to call him. He's a Kyle Busch nut, and there's a few of you Kyle Busch nuts out there. So he wanted some trucks, and so I've got a 2013 Dollar General. Apparently he won Chicago there, so I had the yellow background removed, and I mean, look at the sponsorship on this thing. M&M's, Dollar General, Frosted Flakes, Bounty, Hanes, Arm & Hammer, and then you look at unbelievable sponsorship. You got Clorox on the hood, and you just, all of these, look at the sponsor. 2013, this was the heyday maybe of NASCAR. Flexco, Belterra, Sirius XM, Toyota, TRD, Tums, Eckridge, Band-Aid. Holy cow, Safety Clean. I mean, the sponsorship that Kyle had back in 2013 is ridiculous. So anyways, got that together, and Kyle will be making that for you eventually. And then you have a couple fictional schemes that I got here. Kyle wanted to try this. This will be a lime green Skittles, sour Skittles. It's a fantasy scheme, but check out this bed. Holy smokes. You've got the sour Skittles, and then you've got the Toyota Monster Unleash the Beast on the bed. And then you've got, and I love the detail, right, of certain things, but you've got the little Monster logo that's on the B-pillar there. So cool. So cool. That'll be a fun one to make with the lime green. And then, very similar, another fictional scheme of this 2017, like the other one, 2017. This is the Sweet Heat Skittles. So the Candyman's got a black truck. Unleash the Beast, Sweet Heat Skittles. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Looking forward to that one. as well. And then, as you guys probably know, I think I said I was going to do this, but I went ahead and bought a couple Ross Chastain 2022 schemes because I wanted to be able to make a replica of his, Hail Melon, or whatever you want to call it. I think that's actually kind of a stupid term, but his race at Martinsville, and he drove the Moose scheme, and then you've got the yellow for the championship playoff cars. So I'm going to steal some decals from here, apply them on this, and then scuff up the car like the pictures have, and see if I can get that done here before Christmas, and maybe make a couple of them before Christmas. We'll see. I think that might be of interest to collectors to have something like that custom made on a nice M2 display case. So going to do that. And he drove a lot of these WWEX Worldwide Express cars, so if I use these decals here over here on this, it's not like I'm not making a replica of what he drove. So yeah. And then I know you can buy a Moose car from Lionel, but my thought was I can do some things, right? I can do red chrome, I could do some other color that would be different than what Lionel makes. So anyways, that's those two, is my thought there. And then lastly, again, Kyle Busch is so popular right now. So many people like him. I've always enjoyed the black with the pink. I think that's a really cool color combination. And so I figured I'd try this. So I saw this and had the black removed. Another fictional scheme, but this is the pink monster. And again, with the silk ink, guys, it just pops. The colors just pop. See that? I love it. So yeah, I'll be making one of those here shortly. All right, so I don't really have anything else I want to share with you guys. I've got a lot to do today. Like I said, I'm gonna build this car and make this blaster, and this is going to be yours, Sedaris. So once I get this done, I'll ship that off with the Kyle Busch number 18 that you asked for. I really hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I want to share a couple things with you. Guys, I've been reading through Mark, the book of Mark, this month, and just fallen in love with Jesus all over again, if you know what I mean. I am so impressed by the Word of God and so touched by it. It's amazing. It is actually amazing. And I can't encourage you guys enough. To read the scriptures. If you don't know where to start, maybe you've never read the Bible before, you don't know. But a great place to start is the New Testament. There's 4 different books. There's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And each one of those authors talks about the life of Christ. And that's a great place to read, to start, to get to know this one Jesus, who is the central figure in the whole Bible. But I kind of tracked from what I was going to say. So let me share verse 27 with you, and then I've got some bonus stuff that's just, guys, I'm just overflowing with spiritual thoughts this morning, and I have been really for a couple weeks, and just looking for an opportunity to share. And I appreciate this channel with that opportunity to share my 2 favorite things, right? My custom work and the status of what I'm doing, as well as the scriptures and how God is revealing himself to me, and just a wonderful God. So let's look at verse 27 and get into this. So verse 27, I made a little song out of this verse to help me remember it. but it's Romans 13:8, and the topic is a debt of love. All right. Owe no man anything, but to love one another. For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. So, Paul's right into the Romans, is getting towards the end of his letter to the Romans. These are new Christians in the city of Rome. It's not too complicated. That's why it's called Romans. And he talks a little bit about finances, and he says, don't be owing anybody. If you owe somebody some money, you pay them. You work hard. You work overtime. You do whatever necessary, and you pay them. You don't live in debt, financial debt to other people. But he does say we ought to live in debt, a debt of love. We owe a debt of love to people. So we are to love one another. He that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. And guys, when I memorized this verse 22 and a half years ago, God spoke to me. He implanted in me something. And it's when I meet people, I look at them. I may have never met them before, but I look at them as I owe them something. And I owe them my love. I owe them my unconditional love. Yeah, there will be people that will demonstrate that you can't trust them, or you can't, you don't really want to develop a strong relationship with them. But at the end of the day, we ought to have a love one for another. And as we get into the holiday season, and this is me, right? This is how my observations and my experience, we tend to be a little bit sharp with people. Emotions run a little high. Maybe we're kind of self-centered during the holidays. We're kind of sharp with people. We're kind of maybe more interested in getting the things that we have to get. And when we bump into somebody, they're just annoying us. They're slowing us down, and we're after something. But we need to be sensitive to the Spirit of God teaching us that we ought to love one another, whomever they are. And he says, if we have this love for one another, we are fulfilling God's law. God's heart is pleased when we love one another. So I say that, and I've got a little bonus for you, because again, like I told you, I've been thinking about some things, and one of the things that God's been teaching me is my voice. So I want to look at a couple verses with you guys here real quick. So the Song of Solomon is what came to my mind, because the Song of Solomon is, and you can see how I scribbled this out, some of the notes from the makers of this particular Bible, or the mutual love of Christ and His church. I'm not really thinking that this is really a love between a man and a woman, and how they interact with one another, and the way that we can truly show love one for another is by our voice. So note a couple verses here. Verse 8 of chapter 2. The voice of my beloved. We need to speak kindly towards one another. I mean, there's people that, are kind of rough with their speech. Their tone of voice is off. But what we're seeing here is love between a man and a woman. If your voice is sweet, and we'll get to that here. That's verse 14. Let me hear thy voice, for sweet is thy voice. Oof. Guys, I'll be honest. My voice hasn't always been sweet, and it hasn't always been desired by my beloved wife. And God's teaching me I gotta change my tone of voice. I've got to work on it. I can't be sharp. I can't be rough. I've got to be speaking kindly, even in when it's not, maybe not a kind topic. But so I shared verse 8, verse 14. Look over here, chapter 4. So this is the description that is being given, and it goes through a lot of things, right? The hair and the teeth. Thy lips are like a thread of scarlet, and thy speech is comely. I just want to challenge you guys, this holiday season, note your tone of voice, whether it's you speaking to your parents, or if you're a parent, how you speak to your wife or children, even your own parents. The relationship and the dynamic of family getting together for Thanksgiving and for Christmas and New Year's is a wonderful thing, but we can make it a miserable thing if we have a voice that is rough, or we're sharp with people. And this word comely is a very interesting word. It really means graceful, pleasant, amiable, something that's attractive. When you hear somebody speak, if they're rough, you don't want to be around that. But if they speak gracefully, softly, yeah, that's going to draw you in. So I'm challenging you with your speech. Look at your tone of voice. Speak kindly. Treat others with love. And that's the best way to do that is with your speech. And then, of course, you have Proverbs 15. Guys, I'm 53 years old. I've had a lot of Thanksgivings, a lot of Christmases, and sometimes family tensions can be rough. Think of Proverbs 15. A soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Take that high road. And as I say that, I'm saying it to myself. You need to take the high road. And I need to respond. If there's any animosity, if there's anything going sideways in a conversation, check yourself and respond with a soft answer and try to deflect. Try to bring peace to the situation. Try to speak kind words, graceful words, and a tone of voice that is going to calm down the situation. So that's kind of what I have for you guys. I like I said, I am challenging myself as I'm challenging you guys, because I've got a lot of work to do in that area, and I'm trying to improve and trying to get better. That's what we do in life. We learn and we try to do our best, and we always try to improve in every way we can. So, all right, maybe a little bit more than what you bargained for this day, the day before Thanksgiving. But I hope you guys have a blessed Thanksgiving. Appreciate all of you guys that watch and subscribe. I'm so close. I did notice that there's I think it was 63% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribers. So if you want to, if this is a blessing to you and this is a good informational video for you, just encourage you to subscribe. Appreciate it. And God bless you all. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.